Make no mistake, Alcorn State wants the SWAC tournament championship. But even if they win today in Houston, they will not earn the NCAA tournament automatic bid. That has already been decided. Alcorn banned from the big dance because of a low academic progress rate. Texas Southern has the automatic bid in hand. The top two seeds in the SWAC meet for the tournament championship here at the Toyota Center. Ted Emmerich, Reed Geddes with you. It's a unique situation for both teams. There's no doubt about that.
You know, if you're Montez Robinson, you're telling your guys, we're playing with house money. You have no stress, no pressure at all. What a challenge for Mike Davis to be able to get his guys to play as if a bid is depending on the outcome of this game when they all already know a bid is not depending on the outcome.
Davis, of course, the former UAB and Indiana head coach, has led Texas Southern to 3 straight regular season championships in the SWAC, and now he'll have Texas Southern in the NCAA tournament for a 3rd time in 4 years. As I asked him, do you feel like your team is locked in today? Caught up with him about an hour ago. He said, I'll let you know early. Ask me at the under-16 timeout.
Check back with me once we start playing. It's a challenge, Ted. I'm telling you that these kids, in a game that normally means so much and so much emotion attached to this game, to remove that factor, it is an unknown. Even for a veteran coach like Mike Davis, he just doesn't know what to expect.
For Texas Southern, the message is you don't want to back into the NCAA tournament. Imagine that, a low major conference, 1-bid league. You want to earn your trip. Almost turned it over, but Marvin Jones stuffs it. The Kent State transfer, the 7-footer.
Well, these teams have played twice this season already. The first game was decided by 2 points in favor of Texas Southern. The second time they was decided in overtime. So even with a lot riding on the games, these two teams are very evenly matched.
For Alcorn State, they won 11 in a row before losing the last 2 regular season games, but Montez Robinson's team has won a couple of games this week, and here they are with a chance to win the SWAC tournament championship for the first time since 2002. Jalen McLeod takes it strong to the rim. It rattled out, and the rebound is controlled by Marquise Vance. Here comes Alcorn State, and Avery Patterson lays it in.
A really nice pass ahead by A.J. Mosby that time. He leads Alcorn in assists and steals, but a nice unselfish play. Had his head up when he got that outlet pass.
Alcorn State says they're treating this like their big dance. They will celebrate like you haven't seen if they knock off Texas Southern today. DeMontre Jefferson stumbling, now 10 to shoot. Zach Lofton, the SWAC Player of the Year, giving it up. McLeod has to force it up with 3 on the timer. It's an air ball, and out to Alcorn.
Now here's that unselfish play. Watch Mosby. He's got his head up, and well, so often it's difficult to get point guards just to throw the ball ahead. Point guards get locked in their heads. Man, I got to dribble that thing. I got to bring it up. No, you don't. Catch that ball, look up, somebody's ahead of you, push that ball up.
You know that better than anybody. Going back to your playing days, and for Mosby, he started here at Alcorn as a shooting guard, switched to point guard over the course of the season. Denzel Doolin taking a long 2, and it's secured by Kevin Scott, second team All-SWAC. McLeod missing the 3-pointer. It'll stay with Texas Southern.
Well, Texas Southern coming off of a game last night against Grambling in which, boy, they really struggled from the 3-point line. Just 1 for 9 and had 24 turnovers in that game. They're going to have to play cleaner than that, and they're going to have to make jump shots, and it's going to be tough because Alcorn State is so good defensively. Field goal percentage defense and 3-point field goal percentage, #1 in the SWAC.
Here's Lofton. SWAC Player of the Year. Texas Southern has produced the last 5 Players of the Year in this conference. Trey Jefferson off the mark. Rebound for Doolin. And a travel by Patterson, turning it over to Texas Southern. Patterson began his college career at Western Kentucky a couple of years ago. Ended up at Columbia State Community College last season. This is his first year with Alcorn State.
Alcorn State is playing a 2-3 zone, but they're really matching up. See the guys down on the right of your screen. pointing and really communicating. Nice job inside. DeAndre Davis really directing traffic from the middle of that zone.
How do you attack that zone?
Well, you got to get cutters. And so if you're matching up, somebody matches up with you. You start off in a zone set, but then you have man-to-man principles. Cutting and screening really can confuse. It's tough to know who you're responsible for if you cut and flood zones.
Mosby brings it up for Alcorn State. Finished 3 games behind Texas Southern in the regular season. Mosby calling for motion. Vance going to work. Vance got it back. Still couldn't convert. Marvin Jones rips it down, the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Boy, he played like it on that possession. Changed 2 shots right at the rim.
Lofted with the jab step. Missed the 3-pointer. McLeod, the weak side rebound. And Avery Patterson knocked it out. It'll stay with Texas Southern.
Jalen McLeod doing a nice job. 5'10". That was the 3rd time he's in there getting his hands on offensive rebounds.
Something that Mike Davis said yesterday. McLeod's really closed this season with a flourish. If he played like this the whole year, he'd be an all-conference pick.
Man, he was great last night against Grambling. 17 points. He had 6 assists and 4 steals in that game.
Wearing number 1 in the gray, here he is, McLeod, the junior from Fort Worth. About a 4.5-hour drive north. McLeod high off the window, doesn't drop. Here comes Mosby in transition, the floater over Scott. Ball is loose, McLeod at the bottom of the pile. It's a tie-up, Alcorn State ball.
Mosby got a great offensive rebound, had a chance to go back up. Then Montez Robinson saw his point guard bring that ball down to his knees after he got the offensive rebound, and it was swarmed like a bunch of gnats. Good out-of-bounds play.
Oh, Vance just fumbled it. He had 2 right there. Kevin Scott turning toward the baseline, and he puts Texas Southern on top.
Terrific footwork that time. Kevin Scott, I thought he was going to travel. If he would have made that move without stopping, the officials would have called travel, but he showed them that he still had his left foot down as a pivot foot.
Maurice Howard is a gunner from the outside, wearing number 5 in gold. Here's Mosby giving it up to Doolin, senior from Queens. 8 to shoot. Lofton working hard on defense, and it leads to a run out for Scott.
Well, partner, if Mike Davis wanted to see the first 4 minutes, I think his kids are ready to play.
I think he would be satisfied with the effort at the defensive end thus far. Alcorn State coming in has lost 20 in a row to Texas Southern. Last win, March 6, 2008, in overtime. 6 to shoot. Vance from 30 feet. Trey Jefferson, all the quicks, just couldn't put it down. Alcorn State just needs to settle down offensively. Reginald Johnson coming off the bench as he has all year. Second team all SWAC.
So much of Alcorn's offense is all happening above the free throw line.
5 to shoot. Mosby from NBA range. Alcorn has started this game 1 for 8 from the floor.
Now defensively, Texas Southern has been outstanding the first 6 minutes of this basketball game.
Marvin Jones, a post touch, has the height advantage against Johnson. Wasn't pretty, but it counts for 2. Doolin being matched up with Scott. All right, a lot of movement around the perimeter. Not much inside. Alcorn State boasts great big men on the interior. Vance, first team all SWAC. Locked down by Jones. 6 to shoot. Mosby, spin move over Jones, no. Trey Jefferson, a treat to watch in transition. No foul. Mosby, a pull-up. Way off.
Well, even in transition, their jump shots are all on the perimeter right now for Alcorn.
And Trey Jefferson lays it into the other end, a 10-2 lead.
Well, I looked over at Montez Robinson, and he started to call a timeout and then decided not to do it.
We haven't hit the under 16 official timeout yet.
Watch how much movement there is above the free throw line. Very little penetration for Alcorn right now.
Roll it into Johnson, working against Scott. Offensive rebound by Vance. But Jalen McLeod with the steal for Texas Southern, and he's bumped at half court. Foul on Maurice Howard.
Well, Mike Davis may not have known how his team was going to respond, but boy, the first 8 minutes of this game, they have come out ready to play, up early on Alcorn.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Your adventure starts here.
All right, guys, a couple things now. Talked about, we're already in the tournament. Everybody know that. We talked about having a seed, having a good seed. But we also talked about us playing basketball tonight and what we want to play next week. You understand what I'm saying? So let's come out tonight and let's play basketball that we never played all year long, so we'll get ready for next week. Next week is really big. The game today is all about us doing what we're going to do on the next Thursday or next Friday.
Not sure.
All right,
Well, Mike Davis and Texas Southern were able to celebrate a berth in the NCAA tournament last night before this SWAC championship game. Got a 10-2 lead over Alcorn State. What a unique deal. Reed Geddes, Ted Emmerich with you, former University of Houston star, of course, Reed. Mike Davis said it, we're trying to temper our emotions. We know that Alcorn can't go because of a low APR, but we still want to treat this like a big game.
So you're Mike Davis, and you're like, how do you motivate your guys? It was fascinating yesterday. Everyone that would listen to him, he says, hey, look, we are not a 16 seed. We're a 14 seed. And what that means is, well, 16 plays a 1, a 15 plays a 2, and if you are a 14 seed, you get a shot at a 3 seed. The last time a SWAC team has won a game, they were the number 14 seed, upset a number 3 seed, Georgia Tech. It's a big deal, and it's masterful of Mike Davis because you put something out there in front of them to emphasize the importance of this game. Yeah, we're going to be in the dance, but we're playing for something this afternoon.
Trey Jefferson missing everything on that three-pointer. Yeah, right now, Texas Southern projected as a 15 seed with the non-conference schedule that they have played. I think, first of all, they will avoid Dayton and the first 4, and they might just avoid a 16 seed altogether.
Well, this is a team that's already played Baylor, Arizona, Louisville, Cincinnati, not just tournament-bound teams, but top 15 tournament-bound teams.
Moore struggles offensively. It has been a ragged start for Alcorn State. So Texas Southern with the 8-point lead. Texas Southern had a 14 seed themselves in 1990, their first NCAA tournament appearance. Reginald Johnson spinning, puts it home, and the foul going against Stephen Bennett.
A much-needed basket for Alcorn. Prior to that, they'd missed their last 10 shots and so many turnovers. And as usual, coming off the bench, Reginald Johnson providing a scoring punch inside. And, man, the Braves needed that basket bad.
We've hit the under 12 official timeout. Texas Southern with a 10-4 lead in the SWAC championship. Back in Houston, Texas Southern up 10-4 over Alcorn State. We'll take a look at our Acura Tournament Challenge. The last 5 teams from the SWAC in the NCAA tournament. And, of course, from the SWAC, you're going to expect that 16 seed. 2 years ago, though, Mike Davis led Texas Southern to a 15 seed. That rugged non-conference schedule that year, 2015, Texas Southern knocked off Kansas State and Michigan State on the road. Didn't pull any of those upsets this year. Did beat Rice, did beat LaSalle. 2 solid wins, but going on the road, like you said, Reed, against Arizona, against Cincinnati, Baylor, TCU. Mike Davis says, hey, this prepares us for what we're going to see down the road.
Well, and the highest seed they've had is a 14 seed, and that was in 1990. They lost to Georgetown. But it's fascinating talking to Mike Davis about how he prepares his non-conference. They have 0 home non-conference games, and he picks styles of play. So he wants to play a zone team, he wants to play a man team, he wants to play a pressing team, and he very much schedules non-conference with an eye towards not only the SWAC, but then an opportunity to play one of those teams in the postseason.
Three-pointer by Reginald Johnson. Last 5 points by the Braves scored by Johnson, their leading scorer who hasn't started a game all year.
Interesting player, 6'5" and every bit of 250 pounds.
He's a load.
Yeah, he is a load.
Kevin Scott trying to answer with a triple. Johnson the rebound. Johnson coming off the bench. Montez Robinson, Alcorn's coach, says, yeah, does he deserve to start? Absolutely, but not once has he come to my office saying, Coach, I deserve it. Put me in. He's accepted the role, and Robinson loves the scoring punch that he brings as a reserve.
Another turnover by Alcorn. That's now 6 turnovers, and that is now 5 steals here in the first half for Texas Southern.
Texas Southern 5-0 this year when they come up with 10 steals or more.
Well, you got to like the chance of getting to 10 when they're already at 5.
Alcorn just 3 of 15 from the field. DeAndre Davis back to the basket. Hook shot doesn't drop. Denzel Doolin hunts down the rebound, but another steal. It's Kevin Scott, and Scott is fouled.
Yeah, I thought the officials missed a kick over here on that steal, and should have been Alcorn's ball and ricocheted off somebody's foot. The shot clock would have been reset. Instead, here's Kevin Scott standing at the free throw line.
Scott, a junior from Omaha, transferred from Iowa Western Community College. He is the X factor for Texas Southern, according to Coach Mike Davis.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. He's second-team all-conference in the SWAC this year, and the last time they played Alcorn, there's no doubt about it that Zach Lofton was the star of the game, but well, Kevin Scott was solid, had 17 points for the Tigers.
Also 10 rebounds in that game, 6 assists, does a little bit of everything, but just couldn't convert at the line. Johnson wants his second three-pointer. That's a brick.
That is not the shot that Montez Robinson wants. He's a 30% shooter out there, but they need to get that ball inside.
Lofton a miss. Alcorn could not secure it. Here's Jalen McLeod. Lofton hasn't scored yet.
Alcorn is out of that matchup 2-3 zone, now going man-to-man.
Montez Robinson likes switching up defenses. That's the emphasis at Alcorn. He's a defensive-minded coach. Marvin Jones, 7 to shoot. The 7-footer, pretty move in the lane.
That is the second time that Jones has gotten the ball over there on the left block and just simply ducked into the lane and turned over that left shoulder. Boy, that is smooth. At 7 feet, he gets such nice extension on that jump hook.
Jones had ice taped to his right hand after a physical semifinal win over Grambling. He's fine today. Vance putting it up. He draws the foul.
Well, that's more like what Montez Robinson wants. The last 2 times getting that ball down in the paint and letting these big, wide-bodied kids do some work.
So Marquise Vance, senior from Chula, Mississippi, with a couple of free throws, coming off his 5th double-double of the year at 14 points and 12 rebounds against Southern.
So Ted, an athletic Marvin Jones at 7 feet. Watch the extension when he releases this ball, turns over the left shoulder. Look at that. That is a beautiful jump hook and just makes it look so easy.
Jones has taken on an even bigger role after Derek Griffin, last season's SWAC Player of the Year, left the team in late December. Griffin preparing for the NFL draft as a wide receiver. So Jones is the primary option on the interior.
Now, last year you said SWAC Player of the Year. This year the preseason Player of the Year, Derek Griffin, averaging a double-double when he left this team.
Offensive board by Lamont Walker and a fresh 30 for Zach Lofton and Texas Southern.
Going back into a 2-3 zone. Good pass.
Walker lost it.
Well, that was a terrific pass from Jalen McLeod. He's dribbling over to the left and put his right hand on the top of the ball and kind of backhanded a rifle shot down to the baseline. What a great pass.
Walker, the junior from Chicago, just couldn't finish. Dump it down, Reginald Johnson. Marvin Jones erasing that shot. And it's out of bounds to Alcorn State.
Jones, SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, making his presence known.
Marvin Jones, a block shot later in the SWAC. We're here in Houston. SWAC Tournament Championship at stake, even if Texas Southern is guaranteed to go to the NCAA Tournament. Up in Hartford, could it be round 3 between SMU and Cincinnati? Mustangs already moving on to tomorrow's tournament championship game. Cincinnati with a 15-point lead over UConn right now on ESPN2. Well, here in Houston, the SWAC Tournament Championship, Texas Southern showing off those quick hands.
They have been so good defensively. They have a season high of 16 steals against Rice already in this basketball game. They have 6 steals in the first 12 minutes of the game, and defensively they have been very, very active. Not just the guy guarding the ball, but weak side. So many times we've seen Mike Davis's weak side defense reach in there and poke that ball loose. Well, Mike got to be ecstatic with the way his team has started this game.
10 of Texas Southern's 14 points have come off Alcorn State turnovers.
It's not only a +10 differential in points off turnovers, but ends up with a +12 in points in the paint. Another turnover and steal.
Walker the steal this time, and he is fouled. Yalen Reed commits the personal. So Texas Southern has already earned the opportunity to dance going to the NCAA tournament, because if Alcorn State wins this one, they're ineligible for the NCAA tournament due to a low academic progress rate. Here's Jalen McLeod. Trey Jefferson, the SWAC Freshman of the Year. Texas Southern just about swept the individual awards in the SWAC this season. The lob to Marvin Jones, who hammers it down.
Well, I am so impressed with Jalen McLeod and the way he has started this game. That's about his 3rd outstanding pass down there on the offensive end.
2 assists. He would have had more if Walker had finished early.
Well, that last play looked a little bit like Chris Paul to DeAndre Jordan.
Marquise Vance to the rim, and the foul.
Boy, you know, I haven't been watching basketball all day, but this has got to be in consideration for a top 10 play of the day. And Marvin Jones doing a nice job getting position. And look at the extension. I mean, he dunked that ball about even with his forehead.
7 feet tall from Chicago. Said it last night. He's numb about this whole situation. He says it's like he's walking in a dream. Jones picking Texas Southern, deciding to leave Kent State after last year, playing his final year at the college level. And now he's in the NCAA tournament, chance to win the SWAC championship today.
Well, he led the league in block shots. He was 5th in defensive rebounds and was really good last night against Grambling. Had 9 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 blocks in Texas Southern's win in the semis.
8-point lead with under 6:40 to go in this first half.
Well, if you're an Alcorn fan and you're looking for a silver lining, you've got no business being within 8 points of the Tigers right now. You haven't taken care of the ball. You've had a tremendous number of turnovers, and your shooting has been abysmal, and yet here you are, and you're down just 8 points. Ooh, that's a try.
McLeod, the walk. Yeah, Alcorn State has made 3 shots from the floor. They've turned it over 8 times. and they're still within single digits, Montez Robinson's team.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what people have said about Montez's team all year long. It's a team that finished in 9th last year, picked to finish in 5th this year, and they come into the championship after finishing 2nd in the conference, and that's why Montez Robinson was the SWAC Coach of the Year.
Denzel Doolin fouled. Robinson taking over before last season. He says he's glad that there's hope in the community now. When he was hired, Alcorn State's known for their football program and their success as of late. And of course, the late, great Steve McNair went to Alcorn. But when they hired Robinson, Alcorn State officials told him, you know, we're a basketball school. 6 NCAA tournament trips in their history, 3rd most in the SWAC. And Robinson realizes that while they can't go to the NCAA tournament because of the low APR score, this is a step forward.
Which has nothing to do with him, by the way.
Absolutely
the
not.
APR is a rolling score. A 4-year average is something that's a metric system and is supposed to measure eligibility and retention. And it's supposed to, the intent of it is providing an early indication of graduation rates. And so this is not something that's reflective of Montez Robinson and his tenure as head coach. It's a situation he inherited. You know what? You know who else inherited a situation very similar to that?
Who's that?
Mike Davis at Texas Southern.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their APR was a mess. And boy, he cleaned it up in a hurry.
Trey Jefferson knocks down the triple. Good thing for Alcorn State is this is it when it comes to an NCAA tournament ban. GPA was 2.0, Robinson says, for his team when he took over, up to 2.98 this year. Denzel Doolin.
I don't know what the answer is, because there has to be some accountability and there have to be some consequences. And there has to be some way to monitor it. But man, you look at these kids and you think, these kids are suffering the penalty from prior players in a prior administration. So I don't know whether it's feasible to wipe the slate clean or what it is, but it sure doesn't seem fair.
Back-to-back threes for Texas Southern. Delani Robinson, the transfer from Pacific, connecting. But Robinson still has his guys motivated. They would like to cut down nets tonight. Call themselves SWAC tournament champions. DeAndre Davis down low against Jones. That bounces in.
Well, for all the problems that Alcorn's had here in the first half, every time you look up at the scoreboard, they're down just 8.
5 for 20 from the field. And they're hanging around late in this first half.
Back in that matchup zone right now, Alcorn's got those wings. When Texas Southern runs the baseline and then float up to the free throw line, it is leaving that short corner completely exposed on the back end of that 2-3 zone. We'll see if Texas Southern doesn't attack down there.
Marvin Jones with a breather. Stephen Bennett comes in. Bennett, the transfer from Robert Morris in the Northeast Conference. Lofton still scoreless, the player of the year in the SWAC. Left that short. Bennett an offensive rebound and a foul.
Zach Lofton struggled last night against Grambling. He had just 8 points. He fouled out in that game and still looking for his first basket. Averages 18 points per game, first in the SWAC in scoring.
Lofton a 79% foul shooter. Looking at the SEC tournament in Nashville. Championship game is set tomorrow. Kentucky and Arkansas.
Partner, Kentucky had their hands full this afternoon. I watched that game, and Avery Johnson's team, boy, they came out and played some ball. Kentucky was in a street fight. D'Angelo Fox was just spectacular. Malik Monk struggled from the free throw line, but boy, that was a good game earlier today.
How dangerous is Kentucky now? Those freshmen, especially Monk, who can go off at any point. Texas Southern, a little token pressure. Alcorn State moving it across. A.J. Mosby, the point guard here, 0 for 4 from the field. He hasn't scored yet. Looking for Vance. And foul.
Now Marvin Jones has made his presence felt in this basketball game. He has been good around the rim. He has finished strong, and defensively he has made a difference. Yeah, Marvin Jones having an outstanding first half of basketball. His Tigers up by 9.
Matt Schick alongside Adrian Branch coming up on the Audi halftime report. A couple of tickets punched today. 10 more tickets punched between now and the end of the night. We know Texas Southern is in. Alcorn State needs to get better.
No, come on, Alcorn State. You got permission. Score some points. Let's go, man.
5 made field goals so far.
Ouch.
See it happen.
And Adrian, thanks so much. 9-point lead for Texas Southern, top seed, which has already secured the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament from the SWAC. Alcorn State can't go, serving NCAA penalties. Alcorn ball out of the timeout. Just trying to hang in there. Doolin against Bennett, sweeping through the lane and finishing.
That was a really nice basket. And, you know, down by 7, they're shooting 25% from the floor, 20 from the three-point line, and just 43 from the free throw line. They turned the ball over 8 times. They should be down 20 right now, not down 7.
Texas Southern hasn't been all that efficient offensively themselves. Jefferson just throwing it up at the end of the shot clock.
We got a mismatch. Good double team down there by Zach Lofton.
And it leads to another steal for Texas Southern.
We're now up to 8 steals.
Bennett plus the foul.
Nice production off the bench right now from Bennett. He has been strong. He catches that ball. Watch him jump stop. He gets his feet, make sure he's got his balance, a little bit of an up fake, and well, he is finishing strong through contact.
Fouls on DeAndre Davis. Something that Mike Davis, Texas Southern's head coach, said about Bennett, the graduate transfer from Lake Station, Indiana. We need more from him. He's such a laid-back guy, relaxed. I'd like to see a little more fire out of him.
Well, he really needs him to make more free throws, shooting just 52% from the line. Well, boy, I tell you what, you have Bennett and Jones on the floor at the same time, and that is a big lineup right now for Texas Southern. That's 6'10", 7 feet across the front line.
Doolin. That's a long 2, rattled out. And Marvin Jones just couldn't corral it.
Yeah, he was looking for an outlet pass before he got that rebound, and he knows that ball went right off of his head.
Alcorn State hasn't been able to attack inside with their undersized bigs. Say undersized only by height, certainly not weight. Reginald Johnson, 250 pounds, Vance at 265.
And they're getting dominated in the paint right now.
Something that Montez Robinson said last night. Hey, I put our big men up there with anybody in the SWAC, including Texas Southern. So far, advantage Tigers. That's out to Texas Southern.
That ball was off Marvin Jones. That should be Alcorn's ball, and I don't know about that. You saw the look on Tyler Carter's face. He's like, I didn't touch that ball. Man, I tell you what, Texas Southern has been so efficient on the offensive end, and boy, very few shots are a result of one-on-one basketball. 10 assists on 11 made field goals.
Something that Mike Davis has preached to his team all year. We have a lot of individual talent. Imagine what could happen if we came together and were unselfish. Often missing the jumper, but an offensive rebound for Stephen Bennett. Again, Texas Southern went 16-2 in the regular season, won another SWAC regular season title. But Davis was unhappy how his team has played overall. Carter sinks the three-pointer.
Well, the only 2 games they lost this year were at Jackson State and at Mississippi Valley State, both games on the road. But you hear Mike talk, and it's a little bit like you got to go back and look at the record again and go, wait, coach, you're 16-2. Y'all played really well.
Lofton fouled as he was hanging. Yeah, Texas Southern, this is the most challenging team that Mike Davis has coached while he's been in Houston. He said that yesterday. Most talented team, but also the most challenging.
Did that surprise you? When
Yes.
You heard it? Me too. I thought that's interesting. And maybe, the whole situation with Derek Griffin and, Derek Griffin, the stud power forward who's player of the year last year. He quit football or he got kicked off the football team, going to focus on basketball. And then after non-conference tells Mike Davis, hey, look, I'm going to go get ready for the NFL. And I don't know any way to say it other than he just abandoned his team. And boy, you put Derek Griffin and his talent and his skill set with this team, holy smokes, there's no doubt it's a 14 seed, maybe a 13 seed, and maybe even a 12 seed.
And a team you want to have nothing to do with
that's right.
in the first round. Just a 7-point game as we approach the final minute this first half. You'd think Texas Southern was up 20 the way they played. Here's Mosby. Double on Vance.
What a great defense.
Carter. Patterson fumbling, and he's got to put it up. Vance ripped it away. Blocked from behind by Jones. And Vance is begging for the foul. Lofton a strong move. It's an offensive foul.
Oh, one official had a charge. The other one had a block. And a nice piece of officiating because they blew the whistle. One of them's about to do a charge. The other one's got his hands on his hips. And then all of a sudden they look at each other, defer to the official that was closest to the play. And a nice piece of officiating.
So Alcorn State calls time with just over 30 seconds left. Derek Griffin was last season's SWAC Player of the Year for Texas Southern. Left the team December 29th, averaging a double-double, averaged a double-double last season. Griffin, such a force, 6'7", 240 pounds. Something that Mike Davis said at the time, hey, we're happy for him. He's done great things for the program. We wish him the best. You're saying all the right things. Davis said yesterday, it crushed us. It crushed our team. They had to regroup without him.
He was second in the NCAA in offensive rebounding when he left the team. He was 9th in the NCAA in double-doubles. And for Mike Davis and his staff, that's not production that you just look down the bench and replace. You don't replace a double-double every night. And, man, what a blow to this team. And I would expect, I've known Mike Davis a long time, and I would expect him to respond to that way. There are a lot of coaches who would not have been so magnanimous in his comments.
Now, Davis was so proud of how this team was able to put together another regular season championship, 16-2, just like last year with Griffin on the roster.
I am, for the record, a really big Mike Davis fan.
Just a shade difference between the shot clock and game clock here. Maurice Howard launching the three. Patterson, final seconds. Down to Johnson. Right before the buzzer. It counts. Alcorn State has been poured offensively in this first half, and yet they go to the locker room down just by 5. SWAC tournament title game here in Houston. Texas Southern going dancing no matter what.
They're going to look at this by rule, but there's no question that basket was good and, boy, kind of indicative of the whole first half for Alcorn. Nothing really went right, and yet, boy, here they are down just 5. And Montez Robinson can go in there and say, guys, worst half of basketball we've played, and yet it's still right there in front of us.
The NCAA tournament bid has already been decided. The SWAC tournament championship still at stake, 26-21. Let's go to Matt and Adrian for the Audi halftime report.
Welcome to the Audi Halftime Report.
Thank you, Ted. This is the Audi Halftime Report. Matt Schick along with Adrian Branch. Both teams not putting on clinics. 2 of 9 from 3. But Alcorn State Rallying here. Got to be fortunate to be within 5 here.
Let me apologize. At the under 4, I was like, where are you going with your offense? There was no offense. But you know what? These guys are 8-0 when they hold opponents under 60 points. So this is their pace. I think you're going to see both teams really open it up in the second half because Mike Davis knows what the heck he is doing. He is one of only a handful of 3 coaches to win at 3 different Division I championships in conference play. So they're a veteran team. This should be an exciting half. I think the first 1 to 50 wins this game.
Again, Texas Southern already earmarked for the NCAA tournament. It'll be their 3rd straight there at Texas Southern. And, of course, Alcorn State cannot make the tournament but can win a SWAC championship. Down 5 here at the half. Let's show you some other highlights from around the country. Big East Championship at MSG. The 6th seed, Creighton. There's Marcus Foster at a big shot against Xavier last night, taking on the reigning national champion Villanova Wildcats. Dante DiVincenzo for 3.
They should be the most tired team in the Big East. It seemed like Creighton had a game that didn't stop for 4 hours yesterday.
Actually, that guy's name was Josh Hart. You should know his name. Putting in a closing argument for Player of the Year.
Oh, absolutely. Reigning champion, solid team.
And they are putting it on Creighton right now, 48-33 in the second half. West Virginia, formerly of the Big East, looking for their first conference crown in the Big 12, taking on an Iowa State team looking for their 3rd Big 12 title in the last 4 years. Monte Morris driving in, the Javon Carter. Look at some of the point guards here in this league. My goodness.
Especially this time of year when possessions are everything. The guard play, like you're saying, is fantastic.
There's Carter. Somehow beat Kansas State after only scoring 16 points in the first half last night. Here's Monte Morris. Daniel Bowie's there for the putback. Iowa State closes the half on a 27-13 run. They're up 6 at the break. Go West, young man. Go West. Go to the Mountain West. Colorado State and Nevada. They met a week ago for the regular season crown. Nevada won that one. This one, though, for a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. Cameron Oliver. Yeah.
2 best teams all season long with Colorado State and Nevada. This is going to be a great game.
And Lindsey Drew to DJ Fenner. There's Drew. There's Fenner. And Nevada up 12 at the break. Nevada hasn't been to the tournament in 10 years. Last time they made it, 2007, when they won the WAC. Vermont and Albany earlier today. American East Championship game. The America East. Peyton Henson. The lay-in and 1. Tie game. We're not tied anymore. Vermont, the Catamounts at home, up 3. Then Joe Cremo. You like this offensive foul? Is that a good call? Yeah.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
That's a good call. Beat him to the spot. Seems like these two are always playing for a championship or so.
Vermont has the ball, up 3. They go for the home run. Unfortunately, there's a center fielder there who makes the grab, but they're not out. David Nichols misses the 3. Vermont back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 5 years. 21st straight win, longest win streak in all of Division I. Yes, that deserves a hug. MEAC-tion. North Carolina Central, Norfolk State. Patrick Cole, he's the MEAC Player of the Year. NC Central up 6. We're tied at 19 after Robinson hits the step-back jumper. Norfolk State actually led by 3 at the half, but second half it was all Eagles and Patrick Cole. Nice assist here. Again, Conference Player of the Year, 18 points in this game.
Yeah, went 6 for 20, but they needed his baskets. And keep an eye on timely shooting. Are you making it in the clutch? 3-on-1.
Look at that.
Oh, that was nice. 4-on-1.
That's
Tricked
right.
me on that one. You didn't see that coming.
Well, I've seen this highlight 4 times.
You didn't see that.
I just wanted to see your reaction. And that player was not seriously injured. North Carolina Central going to the NCAA tournament, their second bid, so they get in. Light these up as the tickets have been punched. Again, Vermont to the America East, and the MEAC NC Central will get automatic. There they are. Bids to the Big East, Big 12, Mountain West.
UNC Wilmington. Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, shall see. Again, 10 more bids to be sorted out this evening. Texas Southern had its way early in this game, but it's only a 5-point margin. We are at the half. SWAC championship on the line.
This halftime report is presented by Audi. Welcome back to the Audi halftime report.
SEC semifinal. We were just having a conversation during the commercial break. Our producer, James Dunn, asked you in your earpiece,
About.
Amy, do you think Kentucky can win the whole thing?
I cower to the fans that are listening out there because there's a lot of Kentucky fans. But anyway.
A lot of Kentucky fans also.
Let's live in the moment.
Fans.
Let's live in the moment.
There you say, dear folks, I'm going to tweet out what you said. Malik Monk had 20 points here in this game. Avery Johnson Jr., Avery Johnson Sr.'s got this program on solid ground.
I liked everything I saw. Kentucky waited him out. It was more pros on the court. De'Aaron Fox is very good going to the basket. I'm not trusting that three-point shot. However, Alabama is going to be tough in the NCAA tournament.
It's you avoiding the Kentucky question by siding with Alabama. Fox with 28 points, Monk with 20. Arkansas gets the win over Vandy. Kentucky and Arkansas tomorrow for the SEC championship. DeAndre Davis, the last time they faced Texas Southern, he had 23 points. He's only got one bucket, 2 points at the half.
This halftime report is presented by Audi.
DeMontre Jefferson, SWAC Freshman of the Year. Off the glass, happened much more quickly in real time. Texas Southern up 5 at the break. This has been the Audi Halftime Report.
Night falling here in Houston. SWAC Tournament Championship game. Texas Southern, the regular season champ. Just a 5-point lead over Alcorn State as we get ready for the start of the second half. And we welcome you inside the Toyota Center. Alcorn State SID, Robbie Kleinmuntz. Breaking out the purple suit.
Dude, that is sweet. I would hope Alcorn is undefeated when he wears that, because there has to be some explanation.
Where is your red suit?
I was going to bring it, but that's great, isn't it?
It is Ted Emmerich, Reed Dennis with you. How is Alcorn State still in this game?
You know, the shooting percentages are just atrocious. They had 9 turnovers the first 10 minutes, and yet they just kind of kept grinding away, and here they are down just 5.
Well, for Texas Southern, the story has been the Tigers owning the paint.
Now, Marvin Jones was very good starting out. Then Stephen Bennett came off the bench. And the two big fellas for Texas Southern, a plus 10-point differential in favor of TSU. And for Alcorn State, their leading scorer all year long coming off the bench, Reginald Howard had 7 points on 5 rebounds. And what was just about the only positive thing that happened offensively for the Braves.
Johnson is the man that they call monster at Alcorn State. Original starting 5, which means Johnson is on the bench to start.
Boy, Lawton was wide open on the opposite side of the rim when Jones got that pass.
Trey Jefferson, the dynamo for Texas Southern. Left the jumper short. Doolin, the rebound for Alcorn State, which shot just 29% in the first half. Turned it over 9 times.
22% behind the three-point line, and free throw shooting 43%. I can't imagine a worse half shooting the basketball and yet still down 5.
And Alcorn State, even if they win, they'll be able to cut down nets, but they're not going to the NCAA tournament. DeAndre Davis, the layup.
Really nice pass that time. Avery Patterson came off an on-the-ball screen, dropped that pass, little bounce pass down through the pocket.
Now it's a one-possession game. Texas Southern, as the regular season champion, has secured the automatic bid to the big dance out of the SWAC. Alcorn State serving the penalty because of a low academic progress rate. Scott, nice post move. Davis comes away with it.
We talked about the struggles offensively for Alcorn State. The same can be said for Texas Southern. Their leading scorer and player of the year, Zach Lofton, just 1 point in the first half.
Missed all 4 of his shots. Doolin, the turnaround. Avery Patterson triggers the 3. Vance controls, can send it back out to reset.
DeAndre Davis, nice job keeping that offensive rebound alive. Couldn't control it, just swatted it out to A.J. Mosby.
Alcorn State could tie it with a 3 here.
That's nuts. It just makes no sense at all.
Montez Robinson wouldn't have it any other way. His team has been able to grind through all season. 4 to shoot. Mosby lost it for a moment. Has to force it up. And Patterson is at the bottom there. Mosby banks it in. Alcorn State within 1.
Now, Doolin gets credit for that basket. He's down there fighting on the offensive glass, and Jones wrapped his arms around him and pulled him down to the ground. Well, the net effect of that is he removed Marvin Jones from rebounding position.
For Texas Southern, how do you get rolling here offensively?
Well, I'd go, yeah, that's exactly where I'd go inside. But every time they go, there's the pass that's open. Very well done by Marvin Jones. Last time the double came over, Zach dove to the basket, and Marvin Jones did not see him.
Zach Lofton's first field goal. He's got 3 points. The SWAC's leading scorer at 17.5 per game. Doolin bumped as he made his move. That's on Lofton. Lofton's third personal.
Now watch this pull right here. You see Doolin's in great position. You see this big arm come around his waist on the right and pull him down. And that arm was Marvin Jones. You see him all laying on the ground. Well, that removed the 7-footer from rebound position.
Reginald Johnson back in the game. Missed it from close range. Lofton on the hop. Lofton hanging. And a foul on the floor as Kevin Scott had the offensive rebound.
I'm telling you, Zach Lofton expected the defense to come up. He was trying to set up a Euro step, and the defense never came. So as a result of that, he was on 1 foot and off balance. It's like somebody, you're about to sit down and somebody pulls a chair out from under you. When there's no one to Euro step around, it just kind of looks like an awkward, silly step.
He ended up putting it up off balance. Here's Lofton again. Jefferson, the lob to Marvin Jones. Second alley-oop that Jones has been able to finish.
Dude, I'm telling you, Marvin Jones is catching that ball up around the top of the white square.
Coming out of the heavens, the 7-footer.
He's dunking it on his way down.
Extra pass to Doolin. Now pass McLeod. Now Jones, a block at the other end.
Now Marvin Jones is dominating this game. Watch this down on the other end, and look how high up he is when he catches this ball. I mean, that's up there. I mean, he's at the top of the white square, and then down on the defensive end, just as dominating. Oh, Marvin Jones, have yourself a basketball game.
2 to shoot. Banks juggling it, and time runs out. A shot clock violation. Texas Southern trying to wrap up the SWAC tournament title. So they know that they are going to the NCAA tournament already.
We've got conference tourneys all day. You better hit the Big 3. It's the Big 12. West Virginia, Iowa State. Then the big ballers of the ACC. Notre Dame, Duke, and a Pac-12 finale of Oregon, Arizona. Champ Week. Game on.
Nothing like it. Champ Week on the ESPN Network. SWAC Tournament Championship here in Houston. Texas Southern, a 5-point lead over Alcorn State here early in the second half. Ted Emmerich and former University of Houston star Reed Geddes with you. Texas Southern trying to win the SWAC Tournament for a 3rd time in 4 years. Here are the 1 and 2 seeds right now in the big dance, according to Joey Brackets. What do you think?
I don't have any issue with those. You know, Kansas's loss needs a little bit of an asterisk. Josh Jackson was suspended, and so I think they certainly deserve to be number 1. And is there a big difference between the overall number 1 or in essence, the 3rd highest seeded team? Not that much. I have no issues with that.
How about Duke's climb late in the regular season, now this week in Brooklyn at the ACC tournament?
You know, Denny Green's thing, you know, they are who we thought they were, and they've finally become who we thought they were going to be from the beginning of the season.
Scott, the extra pass down low to Scott, who was undercut by Marquise Banks.
Texas Southern just dominating the paint in this game. Out of their 30 points, 22 of those points have been inside the paint. 5 of 5 on layups, and this was almost the 6th dunk of this game. And, we thought that Alcorn was going to come in and dominate the paint. Boy, it has been all TSU.
22 of 30 points coming in the paint for Texas Southern. Here's Lofton. Alcorn in the zone.
It's been a really clean game. Just 7 free throw attempts for each team.
Skip pass to Trey Jefferson. Oh, halfway down. And out to Alcorn State. Texas Southern will have a streak now of 4 consecutive postseason appearances, either NIT or the NCAA tournament. It's the longest since they went to 4 straight NAIA tournaments in the mid-50s.
They've been dominant. Yeah, they have won 4 league championships in the last 5 years to go along with 3 NCAA trips you just referenced. And, they've been outstanding. Player of the year 5 consecutive years. I'm not sure there's another conference or another program in the country that can make that statement.
Not right now, anyway. Doolin tried to tip it home. Lofton the rebound for Texas Southern. The SWAC player of the year. Lobbing it to Jones, who brings the pain again.
Alcorn's running that 2-3 zone, and they're just not accounting for the big fella down there on the baseline. The 6th dunk of this game.
Doolin the layup for Alcorn State.
And yet, Alcorn down by 5.
That's all. With 14 minutes to play here at the Toyota Center in Houston.
I don't know what the right term is, but their hang-around ability has been impressive today.
They have no business being this close. Lofton swinging it around. McLeod decides to attack. Scott saving it. Jefferson steps into the 3 and knocks it down.
Kevin Scott with tremendous hustle on that offensive rebound. He rebounded way out of position. His effort was tremendous to keep that ball alive.
Another game we did in Waco last year, Texas Southern and Baylor here on ESPNU. Mike Davis told us, wait till we get Trey Jefferson on the court. He was in the program, ineligible at the time. Just wait until Jefferson is out there. He is a difference maker.
Now the SWAC freshman of the year and leads the team in assists and 3-point made field goals. 5'7" freshman out of Milwaukee has been tremendous this year.
Had 27 points on the road against Louisville. Needed 30 shots to do it, but still impressive.
And good the other night against Grambling. Had 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists.
Late in the shot clock, Davis forcing it up, and he's fouled. Marvin Jones defending. I'll mention that Texas Southern playing Louisville in non-conference. How about this slate? On the road against Arizona, Louisville, Cincinnati, TCU, Baylor. Not just Power 5 conference teams, but in the case of Zona and Louisville, Cincinnati and Baylor, teams that can do a lot of damage in the tournament. Mike Davis says, hey, I want my team to experience trial by fire. They can understand how hard they have to play to be a good team.
And it's such good psychology because you end up in the tournament and you're playing either a 1, 2, or a 3 seed. And Mike Davis's team, looks and sees across the line. I don't know who it is, but Baylor, or you see Cincinnati, you see Louisville, and they're like, well, been there, done that. That doesn't intimidate us.
Texas Southern played all 13 of their non-conference games on the road. Of course, another part of the equation is they're able to pocket money for the small athletic budget at Texas Southern. Those games worth anywhere from $75,000 to $350,000 in guarantees. Yeah, $350,000.
That's what I thought you said.
Yes.
Man, when I coached at U of H, we were only paying $50,000 for guarantee games. Wow.
Well, who are you getting to come to Hawkeyes?
I don't know. Maybe that's why Mike Davis didn't come play us.
Mosby. Jefferson rips it away. 5-7 ahead to Jones.
Holy smokes, it's gotten ugly the last 30 seconds.
Mosby down low. Galen Reed for 2. Freshman from Nashville. both teams would like to bring it back together here. Final 12 minutes. Texas Southern by 6.
I'd go back inside to Jones and look weak side again until Alcorn, that 2-3 zone, stops it.
Lofton drive and kick. Ty Bynum missing the three-pointer. Alcorn State just 29% from the field. Doolin reverse lay-in.
Doolin has been great on the offensive end. That's about his third driving basket, and tremendous play by Denzel Doolin on the baseline. And you look up, Alcorn's down by 4, and it's the only counter they have to the dunks from TSU. And well, we got ourselves a basketball game in the championship bracket.
Trey Jefferson, the three-pointer for Texas Southern. 4-point lead, under 12 minutes to play in Houston. Tomorrow at Selection Sunday, 7 Eastern on ESPN. Check out Bracketology. Reese, Jay Williams, Jay Billis, Seth Greenberg, Dickie B. So many experts. We'll have complete breakdowns of every region. Sports Center with SVP starting off at 5:15 on ESPN with the reveal of the field of 68 as the teams are announced. All streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Here in the Houston area SWAC Championship, Texas Southern playing just 3 miles from their campus. A 4-point lead over Alcorn State. Ted Emmerich, Reed Geddes with you. Just said during the break, Texas Southern needs to go back to what was working, just working inside.
Well, they just tried to run a lob, but they were so effective getting that ball down there on the left block of Marvin Jones, and now they've just gone away from it.
And a foul at the other end as Kevin Scott was there for Texas Southern. Mike Davis and Texas Southern going dancing, but they won the shirts and the caps from the SWAC. For what it's worth, I was never much of a fan of Ferris wheels as a kid, but there's a lovely one here in Houston. Got a close game, too, here at the Toyota Center, 35-31. Texas Southern on top. Tigers just about swept the individual awards in the SWAC this season. Zach Lofton, Player of the Year and Newcomer of the Year. Marvin Jones, Defensive Player of the Year. Trey Jefferson, Freshman of the Year. And on the other side of this game, Alcorn State coach Montez Robinson winning Coach of the Year after his team was picked to finish 5th. Zach Lofton, just 3 points so far, leading scorer in the SWAC. He was dismissed from Minnesota a couple of years ago before ever playing a game with the Gophers. Richard Pitino said, hey, he failed to meet the expectations of the program, but he settled in just fine at Texas Southern.
I don't know what expectations were put on him. The kid can really play basketball, and struggling here tonight, but has had a tremendous season.
Scott flying in for the rebound. Texas Southern has become almost second chance you in the college game with Mike Davis. They don't recruit freshmen, they recruit transfers. Kevin Scott being one of them. The bucket and one.
With that last rebound and that basket, Kevin Scott now has a double-double in this game, and he has been very active. What a nice jump stop and up fake to draw that foul. A 2-foot jump stop. Oh, lost Austin.
Scott just 1 for 9 from the floor in the semifinal against Grambling. Much better today in the championship. Alcorn State is within 6, though, in this rock fight of a game. Galen Reed being challenged by Scott, who picks up the foul.
Yeah, that was a bad foul because Alcorn was out of sync and they couldn't get anything going, and just no reason to foul 30 feet from the basket. A new shot clock, and that's what Mike Davis is saying right now, a little bit of frustration with his team on the defensive end.
Davis even said it last night. I really don't know how we won 16 games in the regular season. We have a lot of guys who individually can make plays. They're not playing together as a unit. He has high expectations for this group. After all, he says his dream is for one day Texas Southern to go to the Final Four. He doesn't mind saying that out loud. Lofton churning to the bucket, lost it. Vance off the bounce. Vance puts it home with the foul.
Now the up fake forced Marvin Jones to come out and defend him at the three-point line. And if you can get the 7-footer out that far, you can just see how uncomfortable he is. And that's the first time in this basketball game anybody's had any success at all at attacking Marvin Jones.
That's the guy they call Q, for the Q in his first name, Marquise. Just 1 for 8. It was his first made field goal.
First team all-conference this year for Marquise Vance.
One possession game, yet again. More than halfway through this second half. And Walker's fouled at the other end.
Vance had a really good game last night. Had a double-double, 14 points and 12 rebounds against Southern in the semis.
Montez Robinson, Alcorn's head coach, says that Vance went from being a follower last year as a junior to a leader this year as a senior. He stands back usually, doesn't want to ruffle any feathers, but he stepped into that role as a leader as a senior.
And very productive as a leader. Top 10 this year in the SWAC in rebounds, block shots, and assists.
Wide body at 265 pounds. 5-point game after the free throws. Here's Vance again. Jones out near the perimeter, defending him.
Just spreading the floor and letting Vance go to work.
And Vance once again taking Jones off the dribble.
A really nice adjustment by Montez Robinson, taking Vance, isolating and pulling Marvin Jones all the way out to the three-point line. Now, Mike Davis's team, you're going to have to make an adjustment as Vance puts that ball on the floor. You're going to have to stun at him or run somebody at him and get the ball out of his hands.
Walker looking inside for Jones. That door's closed. Scott, the crossover, and he hits in the lane.
How good has Kevin Scott been in this game? Every time TSU's needed something, Scott's provided it.
Johnson was in too deep. Jefferson the steal for Texas Southern. Scott with 10 points and 10 rebounds. Jones setting the screen here. Walker spinning, couldn't hit. Again, Vance on the perimeter. Run the offense through him. Why not? Kick out Mosby. Reginald Johnson for 3.
3 points for Reginald
How about
Johnson.
I mean, just nothing's going right, and Montez Robinson just keeps making adjustments, and well, he has found something that's worked. It's this open post, 5-man out, a dribble drive attack, and being led by his center and his power forward.
Alcorn has made their last 3 shots from the floor. It started with Marquise Vance.
And the last tie in this game was at 2-2. Well, Alcorn State doing a nice job staying in this game, and Marquise Vance making nice passes, and Reginald Johnson knocking down his second three-pointer. And partner, you look up, we got ourselves a 2-point ball game.
It's a slam cut. Allen on the drive. Knock you out of your seat. What a jam. Throws it down. The dunk of the year. The dunk of the year in the league.
Oh, and you put together the highlight reel of Champ Week. Don't forget about Marvin Jones at Texas Southern.
Yeah, Marvin Jones had a couple of really nice dunks in this basketball game. And he is dominant. He's had 12 points and 3 blocked shots so far for Texas Southern.
But it's just a 2-point lead over Alcorn State with 7:35 remaining here in Houston. Texas Southern has already wrapped up the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament because Alcorn State can't go. Low academic progress rate. They are banned by the NCAA this season. But both teams are still fighting for the SWAC Tournament Championship and an opportunity to cut down the nets here tonight. Jones is on the bench out of the timeout.
So the way that APR works, you get 1 point for staying in school, 1 point for being eligible. You divide the total team points by the points possible, multiply it by 1,000, and you get a percentage rate, and then discipline as a result of where you are. Year 1 deficiency, you get a letter. Year 2, you get restrictions on scholarships and practice time. And then year 3, you find yourself in the position of Alcorn State, and that is the loss of postseason competition.
My brain is fried, but I appreciate you explaining that.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, I don't know what the right answer is. There needs to be some accountability. I'm not sure it really accomplishes the intent for which it was designed.
Right.
You know, originally it was designed as an indicator of an eventual graduation rate, and I think there's been enough studies to suggest that perhaps it's not as indicative as people had anticipated.
Meanwhile, we have our first tie since it was 2-2. Alcorn State, these players had nothing to do with that. Much better academically than previous years. The lob for Doolin off the mark.
Well, that was a missed opportunity to take a lead.
Scott bumped before the shot. That goes against Vance, number 3 on Alcorn State's first team all-SWAC pick.
You know, Alcorn just had a spectacular turnover. And that was a situation where they didn't need us anything spectacular. They just needed to keep running that offense. And what has worked? Well, get the ball to Vance or get the ball to Johnson, dribble, drive. And, you know, if you're Montez Robinson, you just keep dancing with who's got you back in this game.
That's Marquise Vance, who does get a breather now. Alcorn State is not led. Delani Robinson missed the 3. And it's out to Alcorn State. Kevin Scott couldn't quite save it.
Well, TSU now struggling from the three-point line, just 3 for 13, and Montez Robinson's team has been excellent defending the three-point line. First in the SWAC this year in three-point field goal percentage defense and regular field goal percentage defense.
Second in scoring defense as well. A chance to take their first lead. Johnson. Offensive foul.
Well, Lamont Walker's given up about 60 pounds inside and put his body right on him. That's a good call. It's absolutely right.
Walker just exited your screen as Johnson moved it with such force. Jones underneath, doubled.
Yeah, that's a good call. That ball was blocked off of Marvin Jones' head. The far official on the top side, guy on the baseline, didn't see it, looked out to his partner. That's the correct call. Watch the block, and it goes right off of his head when it comes down.
Off the forehead.
I think that's the
header.
Second ball we've seen Marvin Jones' head.
And Doolin lays it in. Alcorn State has the lead for the first time here in the SWAC Championship.
Boy, they dug themselves an unbelievable hole and have now come all the way back.
Texas Southern led by as many as 10 in the first half. Jones fouled. That goes against Johnson, number 2 for him.
Yeah, suddenly you can see a little more bounce in the step of the Braves. They are feeling it, and Denzel Doolin has had a really nice basketball game for Alcorn.
12 points and 5 rebounds for the senior transfer from Bethune-Cookman. Jones at the line.
Really good free throw shooting. 79% for the season for the 7-footer.
5th in the SWAC.
I've seen 2 really good free throw shooting big men this year. Vladimir Brodzianski, a big 6'11" kid for TCU, shoots free throws as well as Marvin Jones does for TSU.
Deadlocked at 43. Oh, out of control. Jawan Henderson trying to leave it for Johnson. And the fast break, Lofton missed the layup. Doolin flying in.
How about Doolin? He came out of nowhere chasing Lofton down from the backside.
Final 5 minutes here in Houston. Here's Reginald Johnson. 7 to shoot. Oh, Jefferson stepping into the passing lane. Jefferson thought about the NBA three, thought better of it. College three for Kevin Scott. Texas Southern back in front. And a timeout for Alcorn State. Kevin Scott has a double-double, 13 points and 10 rebounds. He nails the three-pointer, and Texas Southern has the lead. Schedule 8 straight losses. Mike Davis preparing his team for conference play. Have to go in there without Derek Griffin, the SWAC Player of the Year from last season, leaving the team in December. Alcorn State, an 11-game winning streak during conference play, longest in the SWAC this season. And then last Thursday, here in Houston, Texas Southern beating Alcorn State in overtime to wrap up the regular season championship. They're meeting tonight for the conference tournament championship. Mike Davis, Montez Robinson, they both want the shirts, they want the caps, even though the NCAA tournament bid has already been decided. It's going to Texas Southern.
Montez Robinson's team did not lose a game from January 16th until March the 2nd. So February was a really good month for Alcorn State.
It's such a low-scoring game. Isn't the fact that this is in an NBA arena, such a cavernous space, different shooting background, that could be a part of this too for both teams?
The difference was all the turnovers, 9 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of this game for Alcorn State, and Texas Southern dominating points in the paint here in the second half. 10-0 points off turnovers in favor of the Braves. Points in the paint, all tied up, 26-26.
It was Alcorn's 16th turnover. Lofton working inside. Oh, missed it again. Tough night for the SWAC Player of the Year. He's 1 for 7. Make it 1 for 8 now, just 3 points.
4 turnovers.
Marvin Jones well away from the basket. Gives it back to Jefferson. 9 to shoot. Jefferson. Jones an offensive rebound. 30 more seconds. Scott in the fall away over Vance.
Nice box out that time by Reginald Johnson, keeping Jones off the glass.
Under 3 minutes to play now. 3-point game. Vance driving in. Johnson the tip up. And Jones controls it for Texas Southern.
The vertical cylinder of Marvin Jones, that was nice officiating. He was straight up and down, maintained his principle of verticality. Good no call.
Lofton the crossover, missing again. Now 1 for 9. Well, Mike Davis said it. He thinks that Lofton might be bothered by being in an NBA arena. Just a different shooting background. Not used to it. Johnson foul.
Well, the play before that, watch Marvin Jones just go straight up and down, and at 7 feet with those long arms, he's straight up and down. He's entitled to that space. First of all, he's the primary defender, so the restricted arc doesn't come into play, but he's straight up and down. He just drew a foul, but he's done such a nice job of maintaining his vertical position as the balls come inside for Alcorn State.
Especially when the tendency is to lean in, get your hands up. Don't have to do that when you're 7 feet.
That's right. But then the other thing is not just lean in, but then to put a roof over the top. So
right.
You got your arms straight up, and then as the offensive player goes up, the tendency is to put a roof over the top, and you end up fouling when you were already in really good position.
Johnson brings Alcorn State to within 1.
Well, both these teams average in the high 70s in scoring, and we're going to have first 1 to 50 to may win this one.
Texas Southern has missed 9 of their last 10 shots. Scott,
oh my,
putting it in reverse for 2.
My. He flipped that ball with his right hand as he was going away from the basket on the left side.
Scott now leads all scorers with 15 points. Doolin got past Lofton. Marvin Jones, the block.
Boy, Doolin lowered his shoulder and just blasted past Zach Lofton, and a good rotation on the backside by Marvin Jones to save an easy basket for Doolin.
Mosby for three. That's short. Reginald Johnson, the stick back. Alcorn State shooting just 35%. Texas Southern, not much better, 38%. Lofton's the SWAC Player of the Year. Time to look for Scott, the way he's played today. 6 to shoot. Here is Lofton. Extra pass to Jefferson. And a three-pointer!
A near perfect possession that time for Texas Southern. Run the clock down the full 30 seconds and go to the other end after scoring 3 points.
Jefferson's third triple, 4-point game. Jones meeting Mosby at the rim.
If you're Mike Davis, you could not draw it up any better than that. Pull up with a shot as the buzzer goes off and bury a three. And tell you what, Zach Lofton has struggled offensively making baskets. He has been very unselfish in this game, has made some nice passes.
5 assists, also 4 rebounds for Lofton. The floor game has been there even if the scoring has not. Mosby at the line for Alcorn State, 80% this season.
Leads the team in assists and steals. The last 9 games, A.J. Mosby's been outstanding behind the three-point line, shooting over 50% in those 9 games.
He's just 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 3 from the outside today. He went 1 for 2, but DeAndre Davis has the rebound. Mosby. Another board by Davis, left it short. Lofton. And the foul committed with 30 seconds remaining.
Marvin Jones is changing shots flat-footed, not even jumping. Montez Robinson seeing his players shying away from him. Watch this. Jones is flat-footed, his arms straight up in the air, and still you are afraid he's going to block the shot. What a presence.
SWAC Defensive Player of the Year as Montez Robinson gives A.J. Mosby an earful.
Well, he's saying attack, and it's not just A.J. Mosby. What he's saying is let's quit shying away from the basket and go through the backboard when we try to score.
Jones with 4 blocks today. Jefferson at the line. Makes it a 2-possession game.
And Reginald Johnson returned to the game for the Braves.
Jefferson now with 12 points. The SWAC Freshman of the Year. Like Davis says, that took him a few games to adjust to the intensity of this conference tournament. But he has been the catalyst for Texas Southern.
Let's see if Alcorn State listens to their coach and attacks the basket. And a good timeout by Mike Davis. What he's going to emphasize is, look, we got to guard the line, but don't foul. We're up 5 points. They're not going to get it all back in one possession. The worst thing Mike Davis's team could do is allow a driving player get to the basket and foul them and give them a chance to make a 3-point play at the free throw line.
5-point lead for Texas Southern. Now, this might not sound right, but Texas Southern is already in the NCAA tournament along with the other automatic qualifiers. Again, the Tigers clinching that bid because Alcorn State banned from the postseason due to a low academic progress rate. So no matter the result of this one, Texas Southern is going dancing for a 3rd time in 4 years, and they'll join the likes of those who have already won their conference tournaments.
Hey, this is free of charge.
Okay.
When you enter your pool, that does not have any money on it. That's just for the thrill of competition. If you're looking for a mid-major to make it to the Sweet 16, my friend, take Florida Gulf Coast. I saw them last weekend, and holy smokes. I mean, you talk about Dunk City alive and well. Joe Dooley has done such a good job with that team, but that is a mid-major that can go win 2 games the first weekend.
And you wondered how the program would fare after Andy Enfield left for USC.
Very well.
They have not dropped off one bit.
A big possession, obviously, and what Alcorn has to do is they have to get a good shot. If a 3 presents itself, go ahead and take it. You don't have to have a 3. We saw Montez Robinson telling his team, attack the basket, go to the rim, and try to draw a foul.
Shot clock is turned off with exactly 30 seconds remaining. Here comes Doolin across the timeline. Johnson trying the 3. Rebound, Kevin Scott, and he's fouled with 17.9 to go.
A really nice adjustment that time by Mike Davis. He called a timeout. He first started with full court pressure. They hadn't had full court pressure the whole game. And then trapping when the ball got over there. Instead of waiting till one of those big guys take an opportunity to dribble drive, he ran a double team at him, forced the skip pass, and really nice piece of coaching by Mike Davis.
Saw Davis about an hour before tip. He said he comes into the locker room with his team as Scott misses the front end. Alcorn State brings it up. Howard loses it, he is fouled. Davis says, comes into the locker room, and all of the individual awards, the hardware, was there in the locker room. They hadn't seen it all week. Somebody from the SWAC just dropped it off.
Is that right?
And so Davis says, great, we already know we're going to the NCAA tournament.
Now
and
you're going to put the hardware
Now
in
we got to
here.
deal with this. Oh, yeah, we've already won something. We've already accomplished something. But his team responded tonight.
Well, that's some manager's responsibility. You need to take those things and put them in a duffel bag somewhere and break them out if there's a celebration.
Remember, at the top of this one, we were in the locker room with Mike Davis, who said, yeah, we know we're in the NCAA tournament. Go win the SWAC tournament.
Well,
Finish strong.
He's fighting for seeding. And
Yes.
normally, SWAC representative, you're not talking about seeding. You're going to be 16 or 15.
Or the
best
first
case
4
scenario.
in Dayton.
Yeah, or the first 4. Mike Davis is saying, hey, look, we should be a 14 seed. He said it so many times yesterday and left the press conference, and as he was leaving said, I said 14, right?
Y'all got that?
Yeah, did you write that down? I don't know if they're a 14 seed, but he's got an argument. But this is a good basketball team, and they have had their hands full with Alcorn State, and mainly as a result of number 2 there, Zach Lofton has had an uncharacteristically off night on the offensive end.
3-point game with 11 seconds to go. How about the American Championship in Hartford? SMU and Cincinnati will be in the championship game. Cincinnati closing in on a victory over UConn in the other semifinal and in the SEC tournament. 1 Eastern on ESPN, Kentucky and Arkansas. All right, final 11 seconds. Marvin Jones has it, trapped, and it's a tie-up.
Oh, my.
That means Alcorn State has possession, down 3 with 8.7 to go.
Marvin Jones is 7 feet tall. He caught that ball, put it under his chin, and wrapped his arms around it like a football running back and just presented it to Montez Robinson's defense. And, oh, what a mental breakdown. You have Marvin Jones down there because he's such a good free throw shooter, so smart to inbounds it to him. You got a 7-footer you can throw it up to. But watching after he catches the ball, he turns around, he just wraps it up, and boy, that is the last thing you want to do. You need to get those elbows out. You need to pivot. You need to come up, down. You can't just stick it right in front of the defensive player's face.
And it's 7 feet. Hold it high over your head. Make them foul you. Don't just assume they're going to reach in. They can tie you up easily.
You do that by moving your body and the ball. And
whoa, I did not see Alcorn getting a chance to have a shot at tying this one with 8.7 seconds. They have not shot the ball very well from the three. They might stand a better chance of drawing a foul for a three-point play, but boy, you just can't bet on that if you're Alcorn State. In this huddle right now, Mike Davis is saying, don't foul, don't foul, don't foul. Alcorn's going to have somebody step up and knock down a three-point shot.
If it's not an extremely quick two, and there might not be enough time for that, Alcorn State from the perimeter just 3 of 14 as a team.
Well, the most likely candidate would be A.J. Mosby. In the last 9 games for Montez Robinson, he has been shooting at a very high percentage. He's down there to the right of your screen at the block being guarded. He'll come off a double screen. This will be an elevator screen. He'll come between these two big fellas at the top.
Mosby being watched by Jefferson. Doolin sends it in.
There it is.
Here's Mosby. Jones closing out. Mosby misses it. Lofted the rebound. There will be no backing into the NCAA tournament for Texas Southern. The Tigers are SWAC tournament champions. They have earned the automatic bid.
Now credit Montez Robinson's Alcorn State Braves. They had no business being in this game, and yet they had the ball in their hands with a chance to send it into overtime. And a great look, a cross screen, came off an elevator screen pinch, and a really nice basketball game by Denzel Doolin and these Alcorn State Braves. But hey, for Texas Southern, they had nothing in front of them except pride and seeding. They came out, they started the game the first 10 minutes, played outstanding, went through a little bit of a lull, and then Kevin Scott really put this team on his back in the second half.
Texas Southern winning the SWAC tournament for the 7th time in their history, 3rd in the last 4 years. A 3-point win over Alcorn State. Now to the studio and Matt Schick.